So a very good evening to my lecturer, Puan Asnida. So I'm now Yong Teck, matrix number 254989. So today I'll be talking about my research method proposal, which is the effects of COVID-19 towards the environment of Malaysia. So in this topic, presentation, I'm gonna talk about why, what, how, when, who, and so on why I chose this topic. So the first one I want to cover on is why. Why do I want to explore this topic? Well, it's because COVID-19 is a very recent case. It's a case that's happening throughout the world, and I would like to find out what is the effect, what is the extent of the effect that is happening from COVID-19 towards the environment of Malaysia. And when I'm talking about environment, I'm not talking about just Mother Nature. I'm talking about the behavioral environment of a person. So in this topic, I'm going to cover on three objectives that I want to research on. So here comes the three questions that I want to talk about. So the first one is, during this COVID-19 situation, the first question I'm thinking about is, how far does a consumer spend during this COVID-19 pandemic? How much do they really spend? What's their consumer expenditure? How much is it? That's the first one. The second one is, does the Malaysian changes with the ongoing pandemic? That means, so let's just say before the pandemic, we are just doing our regular stuff. We go out, we go play, we go eat, we go explore, we travel the world. That's fun. Now the question is, what about post-pandemic? What about during pandemic? What happens right now during CMCO, where everything is declaring to be better and better? So what's the norm now? What's the normal behavior right now? So I want to understand, does the Malaysian changes in terms of their behavior during this ongoing pandemic? The third one is, which is the basic environment. I want to know, during this COVID-19 pandemic, does the surrounding environment of Malaysia changes? Is it affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, such as the rivers, the trees, the air, and so on? So then it comes to my objective, the objective that I want to search on this one. So the first objective to answer the research question of how far has the consumer spending gone. So I want to identify the effects of the pandemic towards the Malaysian community in terms of consumer spending. How much are they spending? That's the first one. The second question, the second objective that I want to find is to identify the difference in social norms. That means the social norm behavior that is happening pre and post COVID. That means before COVID and after COVID-19, specifically on a Malaysian's typical behavior. The third one is to estimate the effects of COVID-19 towards the environment of Malaysia. So we want to find out in terms of pollution and so on. We want to know what's happening and so on. So I've answered my topic. I've answered why I want to research that, because I want to find out all these questions, which is very important to me, because I felt that COVID-19 is so recent. We want to know what's the extent, and then I've just answered what is my research about. So what is the thing that we want to find out? Okay. So the next question is where am I carrying out? Actually, I want to know from a sample size of roughly 100 people, and I want to know like throughout Malaysia. So I'm just going to post it in not post it in social media. So I'm going to type it in social media that, hey, I'm doing a research on COVID-19, and I hope that everyone from around Malaysia, like most of my uni friends, like their parents and so on, anyone or my friends who are now working in other states, my seniors, so I want to know like, how is it really affecting them in terms of their spending, in terms of their social norms? How are they acting before, after the COVID-19, and in their surrounding, like what is happening now? Like in Penang, there's recent news that the water is getting clearer, and so I want to know like from all aspects of Malaysia, like not just from one state. I'm just not focusing on Kedah or Selangor, where I'm from. I'm focusing on like throughout. So of course, it's not possible to cover everything, but I hope that I can cover as much as possible. Yes. So that is my where. So my where is actually basically throughout Malaysia. Then the next question is when. When am I doing this research? So I'm doing it actually is before COVID-19. So it's during the start of January 2020, which is January, and then until now. Now, as in now, because we want to know like what's the current norm, how is the pollutions and how is the recovery rate, how is our expenditure and so on. So it's ongoing. It's from the 1st of January, because it must be that means it must be before it happened, and it happened during the 21st, if I'm not wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. But if I'm not wrong, it's on the 21st of January or 23rd. I forgot. And then until now, so you want to know that. And so that's when. Then is how did I do this experiment? So to me, I did this method differently. I use number one is definitely questionnaire. I give out questionnaire to different people. So like I said, just said like through social media, asking friends and seniors and a few of my uncles and aunties from different states, asking them like how's the situation and so on. So the first one is definitely questionnaire lah. The second one is to get information from the government, because the pre and post norm is not something that that is just said. It's actually written and said by the government itself. That means it's declared by the government, like how is the pre and post. So these are very, very not to say obvious, but there is a black and white on it. So not just from questionnaire, surveys, no, it's also from the government, because from the government news, that means I'll be pay attentive to the news. I read online stories, online news and so on. So facts check lah. I need to get my facts checked and so on. So those are the how I do my research lah. And what type of so I did like descriptive. Because my research is actually both quantitative and qualitative in terms of I need to find out, like I have open-ended and closed-ended questionnaire, because I need to find out like how much are they using and so on. But then again, I also need to know about what is the pre and post norm. So that means I do not use any statistical data for the pre and post norm, because it's all on the news, and not just the news. In fact, I did a little bit of research and I found out that it's not just based on the news, it's based on a lot of people saying that previously they don't wear masks. What do they do now? They are wearing masks. That's number one. Then the second one is they hand sanitize. Sanitize their hand and so on, wash their hand. All those 1 meter distance and so on. So those are the norms. So those are they are not statistics calculatable. They are not figures. Those are all facts and words. Yeah. So I do qualitative, quantitative, open-ended, closed-ended questionnaire and so on. So I do a lot of things. And then I have descriptive. I also have pie charts and all those, because in representing how much is the consumer spending, we need to find out like how much does the consumer spends. So I have like in the questionnaire they have to fill up. So those are all the closed-ended question. How much do you spend? How much is your income? Do you exceed your income and so on? So that's the how far does the consumer spend during COVID-19 pandemic. Then we have the behaviors, which are pre and post norms, which I just said, those are all open-ended questions, because we need to know. And not just open-ended questions, those are news from the government and so on. So that is already fact-checked, and I need details, and those are black and white details. Then the next one is the COVID-19 towards the environment of Malaysia, in terms of pollution and surrounding. And those also have professors and researchers and all the fact-checks and everything saying that yes, the air is getting better, the water surprisingly is getting better, clearer. Because why? Because there's less pollution and so on. So all these are what I'm researching on. So to summarize everything is I'm just roughly putting it in words, is that why am I doing it? Because I want to know how far is the extent of COVID-19 towards the environment of Malaysia, not just in terms of nature, but also in terms of behavioral, of a person's behavior. Then my question is actually on like the consumer spending, Malaysian behavior, and the surrounding environment, which then cover back my objective, which is I need to identify consumer spending, how is it affected. Second one is to identify differentiate social norm pre and post COVID-19, and then I also have to estimate the effects of COVID-19 towards the environment of Malaysia in terms of pollution and surrounding. So those are my research and so on. And then, so that's roughly the first chapter and so on. So then, next is all the methods that I've used. So again, I've used data, information, and sources. So I have primary data. Most of my data are primary data because I do questionnaire. I also get data that are current new. And then I have data collection information. That means I have to gather, sorry, just now I said 100, I meant 500. I have to gather data from 500 to make it better, more accurate. So it's a widespread. But there is a preference. So I'm not putting it as a criteria, as a preference that I would prefer 21 and above. Why? Because those for 21 and above, some might be working where it actually affects them. Like if you are an underage kid or you are not a working adult, you're just a student and so on, your salary, because you don't have salary, you are getting allowance from your parents or your scholarships or your JPA, PTPA. So it doesn't affect you. It doesn't it doesn't not to count as doesn't affect you, but it's not really affected you. But to those who are working, those who get retrenched and so on, they are the one I really want to find out, like, what is the extent of the effects towards the consumer spending. So this is what I want to find out. Then also research instrument, of course I've used like Microsoft Excel. I need to know like compile and everything to put in the data and pie chart to make it look very clear. Yes, so that's roughly it lah. So thank you so much.